And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the Market Recap, my futures trading family. My name is John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time, as always. Just time to take a deep breath, relax a little bit. The trading day, for all intents and purposes, is over. Very interesting trading day in the equities today. I thought I got a couple of really, I think, important and cool things to show you when we get to the charts. As always, make sure you hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome on the forecast and the recap. It's always a pleasure to see everyone. And if you were at group coaching today, hopefully you had a good, interesting and good session. Tried to answer all the questions. Nobody knows everything, of course. That includes me. I learn as much from you during those sessions as you may learn from me. And again, I thank you all for attending. Tomorrow, we do have Make Hoag Money tomorrow. We will have the Coach's Playbook tomorrow and a recap tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we'll have a forecast, but no recap on Wednesday. We're going to have the Q&A session with the founder and CEO of Top Step, Michael Patak. Dan Hodgman, our old friend, is going to be interviewing and asking questions from you of our CEO and founder, again, Michael Patak. That's 3 o'clock on Wednesday. So lots to look forward to this weekend. Excuse me, this week. It's only Monday. I'm already thinking about the weekend. Yeah, it's Monday, September the 26th, 2022. Still. So U.S. equities, for a little while there, almost looked like they were going to close mixed. The Nasdaq was a little bit higher with the Dow and the S&P lower, but they all ended up turning around and exiting the day lower. And I'll show you on the S&Ps at least why I believe that was destined to happen. Fed's Bostic says events in the UK don't help the outlook for possible recession here in the U.S. and worldwide, of course. Say a prayer for everybody in the path of Hurricane Ian. It's threatening already crude production in the Gulf, and who knows what it's going to do when it hits land in Florida. Hopefully, it'll break up a little bit and won't be as strong as everybody says it might be, and we can all continue to pray for that. I do have a little bit of good news. If you go to Costco, the CEO of Costco says the $1.50 hot dog and a soda is going to be that cost forever. He's not going to raise the cost of the Costco hot dog and soda. Currently $1.50. It's going to be that way forever, he says. So it's been an interesting and challenging, always, trading day in futures. Good to see everybody. Tachyon, Dark Kevin finally made it to recap. Good to see you, Dark Kevin. Rooster got a few worms. Back tomorrow, looking for some more worms. Tachyon in a practice account made $526. Good trading day. 3 trades tomorrow. Get back to the combine. Today's takeaway, still need more testing, but trading strategy is quite stable. Very good. Tachyon, now I challenge you to stay with your strategy. Stay with your strategy. Eddie, good afternoon. Dimitar, DA, good afternoon, everyone. Wasn't holding long enough, and then would be the case for more profit. Instead, would get slapped in the face to get to remember not to chase. Yeah, it's difficult. Sometimes if you find yourself chasing DA, give yourself 5 minutes between trades. Give yourself 5 minutes between trades. Glitter Sandwich, good to see you. Rusty Golfer, traded in the evening and traded PM and took the day off. That's good. Rooster, I guess the hot dogs will just get smaller. Yeah, you may be right about that, Rooster. But hopefully they don't end up looking like worms. Nothing lasts forever, but it's a reasonable promise I'll accept, right? How about it? Sam, first day in the combine. Hopefully you had a good trading day. Hopefully we've made a difference in your outcome from today. Hey, Haggle Matters, good to see you. ZK up 1992 on the day. I remember 1992. I was a much younger man then. Brody, good to see you. Good afternoon, Vince. Ricardo. Not gonna lie, I go to Costco for lunch, and I was barely making it. Good for Costco, right? Right? You can go to Costco on certain days and eat lunch just with the samples that they're giving away. Go get yourself a hot dog for your main meal, and you're good to go. Nothing wrong about that, Ricardo. Inflation-proof dog. Shrinkflation is real, right? A couple of good trades for $2,000, Sam. Nice job. Nice job. That's a heck of a first day in the trading combine. Glad to see it. Well, what happened in these markets today? Crude oil closed lower in continuation of Friday's breakout to the downside. We got to be careful with that, though, because if the hurricane slows production in the Gulf, there may be some turnarounds in that market. It's going to be a very interesting and challenging week in crude oil because of that. E-mini S&P supportive, buyers at Friday's low. We had buyers all day in that market, and I'm going to show you when we get to the charts what I'm talking about. Nasdaq never even tests Friday's low today. The S&P's tested it quite a few times. The Nasdaq never did. The Nasdaq is like 30% off the all-time highs. The S&P's down 20% off the all-time highs. Nasdaq has been presenting as the weaker, but on up days it tends to have a tendency to kind of look at like the stronger one. What strikes me about that is what doesn't happen is equally as important as what does. Be watching the rest of this week to see how that Friday low is treated, if it is revisited. Gold closes lower in continuation of Friday's breakout lower, and the strong dollar. We'll take a look at the dollar here, where it's at right now. Still up above 114 at 114.05. Came off the highs from the regular trading hour session here just a little while ago, but still looking pretty good. The strong dollar keeps the downside pressure on in the euro as well. The weekly kickoff low falls early this week for the 10-year as price continues lower, yields continue higher, and the head and shoulders continuation in the natural gas seems to be doing okay. A little pretty decent volume today. We'll take a look at all of these in the charts very shortly. And let's see what we've got here. Get things all set up. We'll start with the daily and crude, as we usually do in the recap here. Just getting things all set for us. Sam, that's a great day, first day in the trading combine. Forget about it, though. When you come in tomorrow, Sam, when you open your platform, whenever you open your platform to sit down and trade, I want you to forget about what happened today. I want you to open that account, open that platform, and think inside your head or verbally outside, today I start from zero. Every day, start from zero. When you've had a good day, there's a tendency we've seen with funded traders and people in the trading combine and trading in general to have a bad day the next day. I don't want that to happen to you, Sam. So when you pick it up tomorrow, think, I start from zero. That money that you made today isn't yours to play with. It's yours to protect. It's yours to keep. So don't think that you can start leveraging and trading bigger and doing things that you might not do if you didn't have that money. Just think about what you're doing. Start tomorrow, start from zero, look for the next good trade and see how it goes. Give yourself a percentage of your daily loss limit that you're willing to risk tomorrow and stick to it. Looking forward to it, to see your success, Sam. All right, on that note, I'm going to stop yammering. Sam Sapasi, I think, has now changed his name to Sam Kendall Guy. Three Lions, good afternoon. Here's the daily in crude. So, yes, we had a breakout. We have a continuation today in crude oil. Volume wasn't all that tremendous. Probably a lot of speculation as to what's going on in the Gulf. We'd have to watch that open interest tomorrow morning to see how that goes. This was the overnight activity. I'm going to take this off so we get a clear view of what happened today. When the market opened, it didn't leave the opening range, either the high or the low. It looked a little bit higher. Once the high was in, it basically one time frame lower all day and just dragged along this bottom here. It was, I think, a relatively difficult day because the market opened in range above value. I didn't see it get to any really good levels with which to limit risk. I mean, the overnight high was here. We got a little too deep through that for that to be a good risk limiter. It never got to Friday's high, which we know that we left a gap from Friday's high to Thursday's low. Tough day to really try and look for a high in here, but hopefully if you were paying attention and able to get into this move to the downside, we definitely had the market settle lower. S&Ps. So, last week's low, supportive in the S&Ps, at least for now. At least for now. Volume, pretty decent. What's it look like in New York? So, a little bit lower than Friday's New York Stock Exchange volume. It appears so far. I don't have all of the information here just yet. A little bit lower. Friday's volume was pretty decent in New York. It's 5.1 billion shares traded. Take a look at the 30. All right. So, opening in range and value. Let's take our time. Let's wait for better trade location as the day goes on. We leave the opening range at the low of the session. We reach up and we get relatively close to the high of Friday's session. As a matter of fact, we traded into the opening range from Friday's session. We never take it out. We start the day with positive delta. Now, as the day goes on, delta kind of flops, and then it really increases in positive delta as we get closer to the end of the day. Now, just the fact that we had positive delta through the better part of the session indicates one thing to me. Number one, that's a delta divergence. If we have positive delta, that means that our more aggressive traders are buyers. Positive delta equals more contracts traded on the offer than on the bid using market orders. Market orders require action, and action indicates intent. So the buyers were probably shorter time frame, pea shooters like me, weaker hands, thinking that maybe we were going to put in a bottom here, whatever the reason is. The market never really gave them much to play with, right? If you were a buyer up here, you were holding losing trades here, and if you were a buyer here, you were holding losing trades here, and if you were a buyer here, you got lucky maybe. But the overall move of this was to the downside, and we ended up with pretty positive delta, and delta in the bottom quarter of today's session. Look at this profile. I'm going to squish it so everybody can see it. So we end up filling in a whole... Is this today? Yeah, this is today. This doesn't look right. But we've brought price back to the bottom quarter on positive delta. Here's what I was going to show you. If one thing occurred, which this does have a tendency to occur when we have a delta divergence. It didn't today, but I took a screenshot. Okay, 18,000 positive delta as the market continued to push lower. Now, what I was thinking, which didn't occur, excuse me, a lot of times things we think about don't occur. Got a little bit of a cold here or something. So, what I'm thinking is, if we've got longs against all losing positions at this time, coming into the close, they're probably going to want to flatten up. Well, those longs will turn sellers and create a late spike to the downside. It did not happen. It did not happen. We had a nice push to the upside that took us right to value high. Buyers just backed off, and we ended up kind of closing here in the bottom quarter of this profile. If this was indeed longer, stronger sellers placing orders and replenishing those orders and letting the short-time traders come up and use market orders to buy those orders, there was an accumulation or a liquidation, either an accumulation of new shorts in longer time frame or a liquidation of longs. Either way, we've got our short time frame traders long. This may come into play tomorrow. I'm going to write a note here. We're going to take a look and see what happened with open interest overnight. And we're going to say, okay, do we still believe that we have shorter time frame traders holding longs and hoping that this market is going to bottom and head to the upside? What does it mean for tomorrow? We're going to take a look at that first thing tomorrow morning on the forecast. So often when I see a delta divergence like this, we see at the very end of the day a capitulation of shorter time frame longs that create a late spike to the downside. We didn't get it. Our late spike was actually part of the profile indicating potential acceptance of value and lower price through the value area today. Different story. Similar products, always a different story with this Nasdaq. This Nasdaq gives me heart palpitations. We've got never testing last week's low. Look at this on the 30. Last week's low here. What are we doing here? We're putting in higher lows in short time frame. We just put in a lower high, a lower low here, but that's after the close. Higher highs, higher lows. What is value? Value is here. Value is actually a little bit, well, it's kind of outside, but expanding. We didn't test yesterday's low or last Friday's low, last week's low. What doesn't happen can be as important as what does. What do we do as far as delta's concerned? 1,800 positive, opposite direction. It's the same story. Different outcome, though. We didn't test that low. Maybe our sellers just weren't as aggressive as they were in the S&Ps. Gold. Right. So, kind of as we were expecting, we see continuation to the downside after the breakout from this area of balance. Remember, balance, fade the extremes. Breakouts, go with. Got a lot of space down here to bring us down to weekly kickoff low, which is currently at 1575. Got about 50 more bucks we can head to the downside before I'm expecting longer time frame buyers to jump in. Anything can happen. ACH, remember, that's our acronym here on the market forecast and the recap. Nobody knows. Here's the euro. Continuation. Lots of space. Here's the 30. Testing to last week. Well, we opened with a gap. We closed the gap. No acceptance. We continue the move to the downside. We have delta that's congruent with direction here, so the market just kind of wafting to the downside. Here's the 10-year. We had a good breakout below weekly kickoff low. We have closed below it. We have decent but not great volume. Check the open interest. I'm looking for an increase in open interest to judge how healthy this auction to the downside is. And boy, what a healthy downside auction it is. When this thing turns around, I am not going to be standing in the way. Here's our profile. Opened, closed the gap. No acceptance inside yet Friday's range. Boom, right to weekly kickoff low, finding support briefly, breaking out, and then building volume, building volume, building volume, momentum. This is a healthy downside, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I don't know how long I can do that. It's almost like a straight line, but the rates are the rates. And here's our head and shoulders. Bit of a continuation and a bit of a pullback late in the session here. Where did that pullback come in? Yeah. Throughout the session, it looks like. So what I would look for here is our little rally today. We continued lower. We got overlapping to lower range, overlapping to lower value. My goodness, having trouble speaking today. I'm looking for the market to lose open interest on a pullback like this. What I want is hollow rallies and continuation of bigger volume and open interest on the downside days. Maybe we could start a little bit of a bear flag here and then continue. I would be okay with that, but I don't really get to choose. If I got to choose, I would tell you guys exactly what to do and when and where, and we'd all just go somewhere warm. Probably not Florida right now, but we'll find something. So, right. So, I wasn't old enough, but I was taught so much about this when I was in grade school. The Kennedy-Nixon presidential debate happened on this date. Was that 1960? Trying to find out. I don't even have the year on it. I don't have the year on this. Anyways. West Side Story opens on Broadway on this date in 1957. And all I can say to that is, I feel pretty. Ah, 1969. The TV show The Brady Bunch premieres, part of Americana. Music. In 1965, at the end of a European tour, Roger Daltrey knocked out Keith Moon, resulting in the singer being sacked from The Who. They fired him. They were playing two shows in one night in Denmark when the argument broke out. Daltrey was, of course, reinstated the next day. In 1987, Whitney Houston had a 2-week run at number one in the U.S. singles chart with "Didn't We Almost Have It All." Whitney was one of the best singers. 1948, today is Olivia Newton-John's birthday. Say a prayer for Olivia Newton-John. It's going to be about enough of that. Tomorrow, what are we looking at? I know we have something. Where is it? There it is. So, Chairman Powell speaks at 7:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. 7:30 Eastern Time. There's a talking Fed that speaks at 2:30 Central AM and at 5:15 AM. That's Charles Evans. And then Powell speaks tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern. So that's 6:30 Central. We have durable goods at 7:30 Central. We have Case-Shiller Home Price Index at 8 a.m. FHA House Price Index at 8 a.m. Then Bullard speaks at 8:55. Consumer confidence at 9 o'clock, and new home sales also at 9 o'clock. So some smaller releases, considerably less important than the FOMC release last week, but still, they're ganging up on us. Wednesday, and international trade we have. Powell speaks again tomorrow, and then I think Powell's done for the week. But we do have a lot of talking Feds this week. So tomorrow's Make Hogue Money, 8:20. We're going to be in that room, so we're going to catch maybe one or two of these releases during Make Hogue Money. Let's see if we can't make Hogue some money. That's your job tomorrow for Make Hogue Money, is to make Hogue money. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. We made a little bit last week. Let's see if we can keep the streak going. But again, we're going to be thinking we're starting from zero. Look for the next good trade. Dag, good to see you. And I think that's good. Monday's done. Lacey. George says hello. George says hello. She's looking at me through my stuff. Yeah, he says hello. All right, I'm going to take you out now. All right, blessings, everybody. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Get a good night's sleep, get some good rest. It's a long week this week. We'll find some really good opportunities, I hope. So, always looking forward to your success. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for the market forecast, 7:45. See you then.